It is official. Welcome to LAFC Plus. What is this now? Episode 54? I got to look at my rundown. Episode 54 of LAFC Plus. He is Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. Welcome once again to this episode. And Mario, it's official. Finally, we've kind of been speculating at it. Everybody kind of knew it was coming if a certain court appeal was overturned or wasn't allowed, if you will, whatever the phrasing you want to use. And that has now happened this past week. And what is official? Well, LAFC will play Club América for a one-off for the right to join the Club World Cup. Mario Ruiz, how are you doing? I'm excited about this. That's all I know.
Official like a ref with a whistle. It is on, Davey. What an atmosphere it's going to be at BMO Stadium. I mean, we got a taste of it earlier this year in the preseason friendly between LAFC and Club América. Yeah. That match, I don't remember it feeling like a preseason match. It had a good pace to it. I really enjoyed that match. And you can imagine this atmosphere that's going to be at BMO Stadium when there's a lot on the line for this one. A lot of money and a big ticket to the FIFA Club World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. Now, we can't officially share a date with you. There's a lot of rumors and rumblings going on that it's going to be the end of the month kind of thing. So the LAFC will officially announce that. They'll announce ticket sales, all that kind of stuff coming up within the next few days, I would imagine, maybe a week. But, yeah, it's coming fast. It's by the end of the month, of course, because the tournament kicks off in mid-June, only a couple of weeks after that. So these two teams will go at it. We know it's going to be at BMO, and, oh, boy, cannot wait. It is just going to be – it's going to be a game to remember because, Mario, you said it. There's big money on the line, too. Not just getting there and how great that would be. There's almost $10 million guaranteed just out of prize just to make this tournament. So Seattle and Inter Miami, they've already locked that up. Then you get more for every win or point even. I think it's every win. You're going to get more prize money. The winner is reportedly kind of rumors circulating or stories circulating. I mean, potentially upwards of $100 million if you win this thing. I guess that's kind of the rumors flying around. So I know that's a long way down the way, and that's the final of the tournament's not till mid-July. But this game is a deal. It's going to feel like a final. I mean, it's what it is, essentially. I mean, this is
what LAFC is about, right? Winning trophies, plural. It's not just about winning MLS Cup. It's about being in multiple tournaments and competing with the best clubs in the world. And this is the opportunity to do it on a global stage against some of the biggest clubs all around the world while the world is watching. LAFC need to take just full advantage of this opportunity and punch their ticket into this tournament. If they continue to play well, and this is what makes the club grow and become one of those top teams and well-respected teams globally. This is what they want. This is what they're all about.
Yeah, I really couldn't agree more. Because Mario mentioned the word opportunity, and that's what it is. It's bigger than just the money. It's the exposure. It's the games you're going to play, which we'll outline here in a minute. And you know what? It's an opportunity. It's exposure for Real Madrid, let alone, Seattle Sounders or Inter Miami or LAFC if they are to beat Club América, frankly, if they make it. It's exposure for every team in it because normally these teams are coming over to play friendlies. And let's be perfectly honest, they sell a lot of tickets.
Yeah.
It's not as hot as it once was. These things are kind of, been there, done that. Every year these teams come over in the preseason to try to jam us up for tickets. The American soccer fan, and just they'll use these friendlies to play some young kids, and occasionally I've seen some good friendlies. I'm not trying to rip on these teams. I actually broadcast one with Barcelona and Juventus a couple of years ago at the Cotton Bowl. They played some strong lineups, so I'm not taking anything away from it. They want to prepare, but they're friendlies. That's the bottom line. This is big money, and that's what. Let's face it. That's what these clubs are. They're businesses. I mean, yes, they're your local club or they're the club you love. Absolutely. But they're also businesses. They got to make money. They got to make money so they can, spend money, frankly. And that's part of it. So I think it's an opportunity for every last team in today, Bayern Munich and all the giants that are Boca Junior, all the names we all know that are coming to this Club World Cup. These are not friendlies. There's money on the line. There's pride on the line. I mean, these games count. There's a trophy on the line. This is big.
You're exactly right, Dave. All the different clubs that are in this tournament, I mean, to play against them in a really, really meaningful game, not just a friendly, that's what it's all about. I mean, teams like Atletico Madrid, Bayern Munich, Boca Juniors from Argentina, Chelsea, which is in the same group of LAFC, Juventus, PSG, who's in the Champions League final. All these different teams, Real Madrid, like you said, that's what it's all about. And then you have those two other MLS teams, like you said, Inter Miami and Seattle Sounders. Now, I think LAFC really need to win this game and represent for MLS. How big would it be for the league to have three clubs in this 32 team tournament, in this huge tournament? That would be huge for Major League Soccer as the league, continues to grow and shows how fast they're growing and becoming, one of the leading soccer, leagues in the world. They got to continue to grow, and to have three teams in this tournament would be huge.
So, yeah, that's official. Club Leon's appeal rejected by the Court of Sport. Alajuelense's argument rejected as well. Yep. They had made the argument, actually, the initial argument against Club Pachuca, which Grupo Pachuca, whatever it is. I think is it Grupo Pachuca that owns both? Is that why I think it's named that. The Pachuca group owns both Pachuca and Leon. That's been the issue because Pachuca's in the tournament and they're staying in the tournament. So Leon's out.
Mm-hmm.
It's either LAFC or Club América. And as Mario said, it's Group D. So here's the games that the winner gets, and let's hope it's LAFC. Let's presume it's LAFC for a minute. Let's live our dream. We beat Club América. Here's what you get. On June 16th, you go to Atlanta and play Chelsea right off the jump. I mean, come on. One of the biggest clubs in the world, no matter, American owner, huge club. They've spent a fortune. They've got massive talent. LAFC could beat them. Yeah, I said it. I did. Okay. The second match will be tricky because you don't know anything about this team, and yet they're huge. On June 20th in Nashville, excuse me, Espérance de Tunis. Huge club. Don't know much about them. You'd have to really catch up in terms of studying them. Hopefully, we'll learn more about them over the coming weeks. Hopefully we need to, bottom line. And then Flamengo. Oh, by the way, Brazilian giant, South American giant, a team that could win this tournament on June 24th in Orlando. In Orlando to boot, which has a massive Brazilian following and population. The Brazilian national team is massive there. Orlando, I mean, that's going to be a home game for Flamengo. So that's what you're facing. Big game in Atlanta, probably 50, 60,000 in that one. And a lot of them will be Chelsea fans. Let's face it. Here's the thing about this for either Club América or LAFC. And I know Club América is a huge club, right? We get that.
Yeah.
But Mario, when you're coming in this late, right? These clubs have had chances to buy tickets, their fan bases. You're on the road all the way across the country. I mean, even for Club América, it's not terribly close, close enough, but not. I know they have fans everywhere in North America, including the United States. So I get that, but it's not like these places are going to be loaded with Club América fans if they get in. Now, maybe they'll have a good showing. Same thing with LAFC. The 32-52 travels well, but it's still late notice. These are going to be tough. I mean, these are road games. These are definitely not to be messed with in that sense. This is not like, if we get in, we get to play at BMO Stadium too, and pack the place with black and gold. This is going to be a tough task for either side who wins this.
Yeah, if you remember the last match, the preseason match with Club América, it was the north end. Of course, the 32-52 was jam-packed and rocking, but right across was the south end, and it was all yellow, and it was Club América, and they were rocking as well. So you can only imagine this next game that's going to be, with a lot on the line, and both fan bases are going to be there representing. But the fact that this match is at BMO Stadium and not in Mexico, or not even at SoFi, like a lot of rumors had it, even if it was at SoFi, it wouldn't feel like a home field advantage for LAFC. Your pregame routine would change if it was at SoFi. The locker room is different. The pitch is different. The size of the pitch is different. The turf is actually different. The grass is different. Warming up is totally different. So there's so many things that make it feel like an away game if it would have been at SoFi, like a lot of people were saying. But the fact that it's at BMO is so helpful for LAFC.
Yeah, I agree. I thought they might even put it in Dignity Health Sports Park. Obviously not knowing what dates are available, things like that. I really did. I thought maybe they'd even throw it there as a quote unquote neutral kind of, more neutral venue, if you will, still in LA, still obviously would sell out in seconds, I'm sure, kind of thing. But it's interesting that they put it at BMO. I think it's funny that you mentioned, obviously SoFi, which was certainly on everybody's mind. We've already played Club America there. Isn't that fun? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of funny that both teams would be relatively familiar with it on some level. Not that you remember all that much. And frankly, it was a friendly. It wasn't, I mean, what was that part of? It was part of like the build up to the League's Cup. So it wasn't technically.
Yeah, it was a League's Cup showcase is what they called it.
Right. So not technically a friendly, but a friendly by all rights, by all accounts. I mean, it was a good game and everybody went, they went for it 100%. Both teams were trying to win that thing, I remember, but it would be interesting if it would have been there. You're right.
Yeah.
It would have been, it's a decided road game though, like let's face it. And then, so this one's going to be very similar, I think, to that friendly you mentioned, because I'm sure FIFA will also, they'll make sure the tickets are distributed, This is not, technically, it's not an LAFC home game. Technically. I mean, it is, but in theory, it's not really, like it's supposed to kind of be I guess that's a technicality, of course, but it's more, they're not going to just give 20,000 seats to LAFC to sell. They got to make it a little more, I guess, palatable that way for Club America to come play here and obviously sell some tickets for their fans to come. And, it's
now looking forward, Dave, into the tournament, the actual FIFA Club World Cup tournament. The Pasadena Rose Bowl is, the only SoCal venue that's going to be a part of this tournament. There's going to be 6 big matches played there, and then the final is going to be played over at MetLife Stadium in New York.
Yeah, it's funny though, but again, the winner of this match has nothing to do with the West Coast. I think
they don't.
They've essentially become an East Coast team for this tournament. And
true.
And again, with these type of tournaments, you're not going home after a game. You're just going to have to go for these group stages. They're quicker
to the next venue. Yeah, you go to the next venue.
4 days. I mean, you don't have 5-6 days between. So you're going to have to set up a base, essentially. Again, they are in the South, Atlanta, Nashville, Orlando, pretty easy travel amongst that, especially if you're jumping on a, private jets or something. So you can base yourself in Atlanta or something, or wherever. It'd be pretty easy in terms of the travel there, but you're not home for that whole week and a half or whatever it is, week plus. So, well, actually, you're going to probably have to get to Atlanta even a few days early. So, you are looking at like a week and a half of, on the road for this group stage. And then hopefully you get out of the group. Frankly, I'll be rooting for Club America if they beat us in this tournament, if it's a fair match, if it's clean. Frankly, I got to be honest with you. There are a few things that have happened over the years with.
There has been.
Yeah.
Let's keep it real. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I lost all respect for Memo Ochoa and stuff.
Memo Ochoa. I remember that one. Yes.
So I'm not like, I even take back my previous statement. I'm going to be rooting for MLS teams that are in it. And I love Pachuca. You know that. I respect Pachuca. So I want them to do well enough until they maybe meet, an MLS team or us, or whatever. If the tournament goes that way, of course, I'll be rooting for LAFC first and foremost. Then the other MLS sides, I make no bones about that in this type of tournament. I hope they do well. I will not root for Club America now that you mentioned it. No, we're going to beat them anyway. So let's just get that done. And like we talked about, it is so much bigger than this, just the prize money, which is huge. Yeah. Just the exposure. It's everything. It all adds up. It's like you're part of this first like massive Club World Cup. Club World Cup's been around a long time, and I've loved it for a long time. I've been a fan of it. I think it's a very underrated tournament, even in its old format. But this is taking it to a whole different level, and it's such a great format for this. People, Mario, you and I were talking about right before we even started the show. People still, in a lot of ways, don't realize how big this is going to be.
Because, it's going to be fun.
Yeah, we talk about those friendlies, right? We talk about these friendlies where Man City comes over and plays Barcelona, and there's 60, 70,000 people. Again, those are friendlies. Well, these are the same teams that are going to be here trying this summer, right? You're not going to see number 184 on anybody's jersey, or you're not even going to see a lot of 90s or whatever. You're not seeing a lot of kids going to be running around in these tournaments. I'm sorry. These are grown-up games, Yeah,
they've never done the FIFA Club World Cup quite like this. This one is massive. This one is huge, a 32-team tournament, World Cup style. And the thing is that a lot of people, I have been hearing a lot of backlash as far as like the congestion it brings to a lot of clubs, coaches, players. And if you're a fan, you love it, right? Because you got all this soccer coming your way this summer. You got the World Cup qualifiers coming. A few days later, you have the FIFA Club World Cup starting. And then almost simultaneously, you have the Gold Cup with Canada, US, Mexico as well, Panama. And that sounds like a lot of fun if you're a fan. But if you're a player, I mean, that's a lot of travel, a lot of mileage, a lot of minutes on your body. That's a lot to juggle. And it's going to be interesting to see how players and coaches do it. You know what I mean? Because like for Messi, for example, I was checking out Messi, like check out his schedule for Messi. You know, he has an MLS game versus Columbus Crew on June 1st. Then a game in Chile with his international squad, Argentina, on June 5th. That's just 4 days later. Then Argentina home game versus Colombia, June 10th. Then his first FIFA Club World Cup game in Florida on June 14th. So that's 4 games in 14 days, Dave. How does he handle that? How's the coaches, from Argentina and Inter Miami handle that? It's going to be very, very interesting.
I know, but here's one thing I will say about all that too. And again, catch me on a different day. I might have a slightly different, more nuanced opinion. He's 38. He's still a young man. Go play. These opportunities, even for him, don't come around all the time. This is a Club World Cup with 32 teams, as you mentioned. This is a massive tournament. He wants to win it, I'm not telling Lionel Messi anything he doesn't already believe himself. He wants to play every minute he can. I get what you're saying. Yeah. These are still young men, professional. Go play. Just suck it up. I get a little tired hearing about it sometimes. I'm a little bitter maybe because of other sports that, like the NBA that gets into all this resting players all the time. And yet my Cavaliers spent all season not playing guys, winning a ton, keeping their minutes down, so they could all be injured for the playoffs anyway. And now we're going to get, it's like annoying. So I'm kind of like, I respect athletes. Believe me, like I know they need rest. I know you don't want to push them too much, but this is not an every month occurrence. This is not even an every year occurrence. This is huge. Yeah. Let's suck it up. Let's realize the opportunity. And I'm not talking, this is not just LA. I mean, I'm not talking LAFC. They have probably a slightly lesser schedule, certainly, than Inter Miami will, or at least Messi with, as you said, the World Cup qualify. You know what I mean? So I get it. Denis Bouanga has no trouble showing up to every match. It seems like it's on the schedule.
Definitely. You're right about that.
He's not 20 anymore. He's 30. He's not 18. I mean, the guy's been around. He's stuck it up, everybody. And, and again.
And it is every 4 years, just like the World Cup. It is every 4 years. I love that. It's going to be the year before the World Cup, which gives you that little tease to help you get ready for the granddaddy of them all, the World Cup. And I can't wait for the World Cup matters. That World Cup is going to be amazing too. So next year, 2026, I'm hearing that it's going to be the biggest sporting event of all time. Yeah. There was an event at the White House with FIFA in the White House, and they were talking about making sure that it's going to be the biggest sporting event of all time. So I'm already looking forward to it.
I think I agree with that. I also think the Club World Cup, now we're looking ahead here. If you're going to do it this way, like every 4 years, the year before the World Cup, I think it should be in the United States every year. There, I said it, or I don't mean every year. Every time you hold it, every 4 years, it should be in the U.S. We have the easy, we have the stadiums already, everything's relatively easy.
Logistically, yeah, but there'll be a lot of jealous countries if we do that.
Yeah, but even so, like all these European teams, so many of them, and even a lot of South American giants that are in these tournaments, they come here anyway for these pre.
They don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're still building your brand in a different place that maybe you're still trying to build your brand. You know what I mean? Like, yes, you could move it to different places. That would be fine too. I'm not like so bent on this, but it would be cool if it just becomes like a pretty regular occurrence in the United States every 4 years. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
One regular occurrence, Mario, as we move on here in LAFC Plus is, playing Vancouver Whitecaps. We play them at least twice a year. It seems like we've been playing about 10 times a year over the last few years. Well, that comes up for the first time in 2025, Sunday. And had we beaten Inter Miami, we would have been playing them in the next round of that, where Vancouver is already off into the
you're saying it, Dave. You're saying it right there, because I've been looking forward to this match with Vancouver for weeks now. Ever since LAFC's exit from the Conca Champions versus Inter Miami. Yes, we're still talking about it. I'm still talking about it. Dave's still talking about it. Still hurts. We're not over it. But this game, this game of football, soccer, it's a game of inches. It's a game of luck and being unlucky as well. But I still think LAFC should have went past Miami, and we know LAFC would have beat Vancouver in the next round. So that's why this Sunday versus Vancouver, they're going to prove me right. I think LAFC is going to come out and they're really going to look good. Mark my word, this is a big time game for LAFC, and I think Vancouver, they're feeling the pressure because they haven't been able to beat LAFC in big time matches. So they're feeling it.
Yeah, they are. I think they kind of turned a little bit of a corner, though, playing us last season in the playoffs and playing us really tough for a couple of matches there. Nearly got through. Let's be honest. They did a great job there.
I hear that.
Let's remember, they're the best team in MLS. I mean, 8-1-2 is no fluke. The 26 points, they're rolling. I mean, even when they rotated squads this year heavily for the CONCACAF Champions Cup, in midweek, they were still crushing teams on the weekends with their rotated squad. Yeah. And here's the thing: the red hot. We've talked about it a little bit. Managerial changes can matter. Yes, Sorensen comes in. Manny Sartini clearly took him as far as he could. Jesper Sorensen comes in, and I'm sorry, this is the same team. Like, it's not like they went out and spent $30 million on 3 players and or one got a huge designated player, spend $15 million player. They didn't go get Kevin De Bruyne, and all of a sudden they're great. Now, like, this is the same roster. In fact, they're so banged up, they haven't even had Ryan Gauld for a lot of the year, who you would argue,
Brian White as well.
Yeah, Brian White has been a little bit, although he's having a great year. Ryan Gauld, you could argue, is their best player. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but so what? He's one of their best players and clearly a very good player, very talented. So they're missing him, quote unquote. Sebastian Berhalter is just taking leaps and bounds. I mean, this guy was just a player, not a bad player in years past, but you could see some talent, but he wasn't. He was just a player. He was, a decent player. All of a sudden, this guy is a world-class midfielder. And if you think I'm hyperbolic here, I mean, he's playing at that level. Like, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, we've been watching him, Dave. Berhalter is playing like an MLS all-star right now. Like, no hyperbole, scoring goals in MLS and in Coca Champions. He's a big part of their success that Vancouver had, over Inter Miami in the Coca Champions, even against Pumas and in the Coca Champions as well, Monterrey as well. He's been a big part all year long in MLS. And they just can't miss right now. Vancouver, they're even getting, goals from Tristan Blackman, who's playing well. He had a banger this past weekend. He had Top Ben's goal. It was amazing. It's been great to see his growth, former LAFC player. He's solid. I mean, maybe even getting some U.S. men's national team considerations in the future, I think, if he keeps playing as well as he is right now. Pedro Vite, the Ecuadorian player, is playing well as well. So just guys are just coming in there, getting slotted in. Maybe they rotate a little bit here and there, but it's the same style. It's the same game plan, game model. They're just slotting guys in there, and it's working. You don't notice anything. It's just like they're doing it well, and that's the sign of a good head coach right there.
Oh, I completely agree. He's been incredible since coming over. Jesper Sorensen has done a great job.
Jesper Sorensen, yeah.
I mean, they're just playing at a high level. Here's the thing that kind of reminds me of is kind of the early days of LAFC, like 2019, second season where we just dominated, where there were games where the other team just knew they were going to lose. Like, as soon as we got the first goal, they fell apart. That's what Vancouver's doing to teams. It's like, they just absolutely know. They don't believe it. They don't think it. They know they're going to run you over. Like, it's not even a question. And as soon as they start doing it, the other teams just fold up. Like, they're that good right now. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. LAFC can punch them in the nose. We've had success on that carpet up there. It's not a terrible place to play. It's not the greatest home field advantage, even when they're winning. It's not like a cauldron you got to go into, and it's like, oh, my goodness, we're going to, the Maracana, or something, or you're going to, you're going to face the 32-52. There's nothing. No offense to the Whitecaps fans. They're all lovely fans and everything, but it's not like a terrible place to have to go to, face your road warriors, and you got to be so LAFC's done well there. So it's, we are more than capable of punching this team in the nose, especially the way LAFC start to play. I mean, it's coming together at the right time. This is a great matchup on paper. I mean,
I think Vancouver.
viewing MLS games, this is the game of the weekend. I mean,
this is the game of the weekend and maybe one of the games of the year because this is huge. I mean, like we talked about, LAFC knocking them out of Conca Champions, knocking them out of the playoffs 2 times. Vancouver's playing so well right now. They want their taste at LAFC right now because they're playing so well. They're informed. They want their redemption, but I think Vancouver has to look out for Denis Bouanga. I mean, the whole league knows already how good he is. They know what he's capable of, but Denis seems to be hitting that tip-top form, that we all love to see him at. He's scoring goals, putting opponents on their heels. He's making the right passes, assisting, and Denis has 4 goals in the last 4 games. So look out for Denis. And then we have, Nathan Ordaz and Abobasi as well. They're both healthy. They're both playing well. So they both scored in the last game. We also have Olivier Giroud, who's coming off of the bench as well. We don't know the lineup this weekend, but there's a lot of attackers that Vancouver has to look out for, and you don't particularly know which striker is coming at you for this game here. So I'm looking forward to this one. Yeah,
I agree. And even David Martinez loves it on the road too. Like, I mean, not that he's bad at home, but he certainly has no trouble, even as a young player. Sometimes it's tough for them to go on the road in hostile environments and do well. He's just thrived on the road. So I agree. Cengiz Ünder is not going to be, he's not going to be overawed by anything. It's not going to matter to him. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, we're really starting to round into shape. Vancouver is in that form. We're really starting to get there. And it is a bad time. I think you're right. If you're Vancouver, it's an unfortunate time to face Denis Bouanga. You wanted to catch him earlier in the season. Clearly, you're right. He's rounding into what is his typical, red hot form, which is great. But I mean, honestly, we're going to talk about these other games. I really only picked one because this is such this matchup, only game on Sunday, right? It's like the focus of the league. It's perfect. I mean,
and it's a big game for LAFC to be motivated for. They're up for this game. They know how well Vancouver is doing, and they know the success that they've had against Vancouver. So if they were to go up there and punch them in the mouth, it'd be a statement win for LAFC. I think they're motivated by that.
Yeah, and then you're 6 points back instead of 12 if you lose. I mean, it's a 6-pointer. This is massive. I mean, you're already 9 points back. Obviously now, again, long way to go. We don't know how the season's going to shake out, and it's not the end of the world if you go into the playoffs and you're not the number 1 seed. We all know this, but you want to get that top seed to get those home games when they matter. Mario and I talk about that all the time, and certainly, BMO Stadium can be a big factor for that for us. So yeah, you want to think about these things. These are 6-pointers. There's no doubt. Mario, let's preview the rest of the MLS weekend. And by the way, that game is on Sunday again, and you'll hear it 3:30 p.m. airtime on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app for that game with Vancouver. This is the plus portion of LAFC Plus, previewing the rest of the MLS weekend. Would you like to pick a couple matches that we like? What's your choice for this weekend?
I'm going with Orlando City hosting New England Revolution. That's a big game for me. I think New England, they're playing well right now. 4 straight wins, 4 straight clean sheets. But Orlando is unbeaten, in their last 9 matches across all competitions. So they're doing well as well. They just ran through the Tampa Bay Rowdies in the U.S. Open Cup 5-0. And I really like what I saw from the 16-year-old Carabello from Orlando City. He's a homegrown player. He's really good, showing a lot of talent, a lot of confidence to put in, a brace in the first half against the Rowdies is really huge for him. He's the youngest player ever in Orlando City to score a goal. So that's big. And, they're just taking care of business defensively as well. They have 6 consecutive clean sheets across all competitions. So when you're doing that, you're able to get draws and wins and rack up points.
Yeah, they're very quietly very good, Orlando. I almost think at times they should either get more respect or be better than they are even, on standings, I mean, they're just that good. If you look at the standings now, again, same points as LAFC, frankly, 17. They have a slightly different record. They've only lost 2. They've drawn a lot more games because they've had a few 0-0s, as Mario was talking about with that defense. But they've only allowed 12 goals. It just feels at times like they should just be even better, with that talent. I think you're right. They're loaded with talent. And I love that matchup because New England, they've made a tactical kind of adjustment where they're now much more settled, in how they're playing under, Caleb Porter. And, look, they struggled. They were terrible last year, no doubt. And they started bad this year. Caleb Porter is a winner. Now, you may not like him. You may not like his abrasive or whatever attitude sometimes if you might not might rub you the wrong way if you're playing against him, kind of thing. Dude just wins. I mean, he's won the MLS Cup with 2 different teams. I mean, that's just no fluke, and he will have this team eventually going in the right direction, I believe. And they are already. I don't mean going in the right direction. I mean shooting up the standings, in my opinion, even in the tough Eastern Conference. I think that's a great.
And they have Carlos Hill. Carlos Hill is playing amazing right now. Always I saw that goal is amazing. God, that's the type of talent he is. He's a talented dude right there, former MVP, and he's playing like he wants to get back to that MVP type level. And if he does that, I mean, he's going to have New England right there in the mix.
When people talk about Messi sometimes, and even Cristiano Ronaldo, the best of the best, they use a phrase, right, that, and we hear it in other sports too. They're really greats. They make it look
easy. Yes. Okay? Yes.
Yep. That's a phrase. That's not true.
Yeah.
It is easy for them. That's the difference, right?
Good point. I like that, Dave.
Carlos Hill made that look easy because it is easy for him. That's how good Carlos Hill is. It wasn't difficult. He didn't make it look easy. It is easy for him to do those things, just like Messi, right? Yeah. That's how good they are. Now, I'm not saying Carlos Hill is as good as Messi, but Carlos Hill, if you haven't seen that goal with your own eyes, go watch.
That's the phrase I told my son when I saw that goal. I said, he made that look easy. It's so funny. It's so true.
That's my point. I believe. Yeah. Like, that's the different level. Some guys can make it look easy, and they're not at that level. For Messi, it is easy. That's how good he is, because he doesn't have to make it look easy. It is that easy. And Carlos Hill, oh my gosh, like he wasn't even trying. It was just, the goal was utterly spectacular. What a player, Mario. Great shout. I love that match. Almost picked it myself, but I am going with Philadelphia Columbus.
Good one.
A lot of similar reasons, frankly. 2 teams on the rise. I think Philadelphia has kind of really shaken off what had happened to them last year, where they couldn't even win at home last season, which was unbelievable. Well, they move on. They get a new manager. Bradley Carnell comes in, 4-1-1 at home now. Very, very good at home again, which is what they've usually always been. Second in the East, right behind Columbus. This is 1v2 in the East in Philadelphia. I mean, the Crew just keep doing it. We know that. We know how good they are. We respect the heck out of the Crew. Both teams have only allowed 10 goals, so they're both giving up less than a goal per match. It just scoring for fun, both of them. I mean, this could be an Eastern Conference final preview.
True.
No disrespect to the Inter Miami. Like, these might be the 2 best teams in the East, really. And Inter Miami's right there. I'm not, I'm not taking anything away from them, but they are both loaded. Philadelphia's
it's a big game.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, they are just playing so well, and Columbus just talent everywhere. Mario.
Respect to Wilfred Nancy, because a lot of us did not expect Columbus to be playing this well, to be doing this well this season after what they've lost in Cucho and Christian Ramirez, but they're right there again at the top. Wilfred Nancy could be coach of the year, unless it's going to be Jesper Sorensen over in Vancouver. But wow, this is a big game right here. 1 and 2, like you said. I'm looking forward to that one. There's a lot of big games this weekend, and I'm looking forward to it.
Difficult to pick this week, I think, but these ones really kind of stand out. You got Vancouver, LAFC, Columbus, Philadelphia, Orlando versus New England's a great shout. I love that shout because they're both on the rise and are both going to be a threat, no doubt about it, going forward.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I think Orlando, New England could be those teams that end up right below the Columbus, Philly, like in that 4 or 5 spots. They still got a ways to go, but I think they're both that good. So we'll see what happens in those games. Should be an awesome weekend, no doubt about it. Again, we'll have more details on when exactly the game is, what's the game time, how, tickets, all that. Hopefully next show on here on LAFC Plus next week. Know more about, of course, this big game with Club América. It's coming, end of the month. Look out. Here we go. You have to end on that, a show like this, because I want to circle back to Mario, because I'm so pumped up about it. But it has been another great episode, dude. This has been so much fun. Always have a good time with you. And we love talking LAFC. If you want to hit us up, subscribe, rate, review all over the place, wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch it on YouTube as well. We appreciate that. Leave some comments there if you want. I certainly check out those, probably more than any other site individually. in terms of, rating and reviewing and stuff. I watch the YouTube or watch for YouTube comments. Hopefully you can kind of participate there if you want to do that. Join us there. Yep. Join us wherever. Mario, as always, great stuff, brother. Take us out of here, man.
Yeah, great stuff. And I'm looking forward to this Sunday because it has that playoff type of feel for me. As we build up to it and we look at the past, the history between these two clubs, LAFC and Vancouver, just the slot that Vancouver is at right now, where they are in the standings, where they are in CONCACAF Champions. I think LAFC are really coming out to make a statement in this game. So it's a big one. Join us 3:30 with the pregame show, the 30-minute pregame show on LAFC radio, which is ESPN LA 710, the home of LAFC, and on the ESPN LA app. The game time will be a little bit after 4. Make sure you join us there. That's also, Dave Denholm.
What's up? I apologize real quick.
Yeah.
We got another game before the next show.
Yeah.
Wanted to mention that too. So we got a huge one Sunday. We'll be talking next week about the Wednesday night game against Seattle Sounders. So obviously we don't want to blow that off either. You can hear that on LAFC.
It's a busy month of May for LAFC and for you and I, Dave. Yeah.
Next week we'll be recapping that Seattle game, which would have just happened the previous night. So a lot coming up here on LAFC Plus. We appreciate it. Thanks, Mario.
Yeah. Make sure you keep it locked right here with LAFC Plus. That's Dave Denholm. I'm Mario Ruiz. We'll catch you on the next one. Peace.